Welcome to Christian Warrior Training. My name is Keith, and in this episode, we are going to talk about what my loadout is for my truck. Now, why do I have this loadout for my truck? You never know what's going to happen. There's bad times ahead. We know it's written in the Bible. We know what's coming up. There's a lot of different interpretations of Revelations, but we know something's happening. First and foremost, make sure you pray for protection from our Lord and Savior, and part of that too is just make sure that you train. So I'm going to show you all this cool equipment, but please train. If you don't go out and take rifle classes, pistol classes, come out and practice. And if you don't have the money for those classes, that's okay. Go find somebody that will come help you. As an example, I have people that come to the range. I'm up at the range today, so I'm doing close quarter battle movement. I will always bring somebody that wants to train to come up with me, just so that way we can train them and teach them, and you got to practice. So training is the most important thing, but let's talk about what I carry in my truck, whether it's sometimes I'm tooling around town, or I definitely bring it when I go to church because you never know what's going to happen. But I travel a lot, and you're going to see a lot of extra things that I put in my truck because I'm traveling. I don't have to worry about civil disobedience where I live right now because there is no civil disobedience. I live in a very nice state with nice people. I came from a state where people were not nice, but I decided to leave California and move to the United States. So I don't have to worry about those issues like some of you do. So I do travel to bad areas, and I have to worry about civil disobedience. So I have some of the stuff I need for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what I've got in my vehicle to help me out. All right, so with that said, a lot of you asked, what do I carry in my truck? So I thought I'd take you on a little tour to show you what I got. First things first, I do keep a battle belt in my truck. I have a Glock 35 with an RMR on that I carry in a Safariland holster. Going across, I've got my extra mags, and then I've got my drop pouch in the back. That's all I carry. I don't carry anything extra because I don't need it. This is more for like, there's an active shooter or some other bad event. It doesn't matter. There's something bad happen, and you need more than just what you would normally have it, available to you. I do have a plate carrier that I keep in the back as well. On my plate carrier, I keep a couple of items that I think are pretty important. I obviously have, I took some mags out because I'm up at the range today shooting, but I have 3 magazines because I really don't need more than that. I got 1 in the gun plus my 3 mags on the actual carrier. I also have a radio. Now my radio is kind of interesting. Just pull this out and show it to you because some of you guys might be interested in this. So I use a Motorola STX 5000. Now these were quite expensive back in the day. These were $2,500 to $3,000. This is what the police used. I used this on SWAT. And I don't know, I think I had this for like probably a good 10 years of my career, and I beat the crap out of it, and I could not get it to break as much as I tried. I never had one break. The reason why I like it is because I bought this on eBay for $215, and it has P25 encryption. To the FCC, I don't use encryption because I know you have rules against that, so I don't do that. But you could if all of a sudden there was no government one day. With that said, I got P25 encryption, so I loaded up on this. I have my church's security frequency, and I have a couple of frequencies that my inner circle has access to with one encrypted channel. If it were to come to that, not yet. If it were to come to that, we can have an encrypted channel that we could use if we needed to. We can hear what we were doing, and it was only $215 because all the police departments are getting rid of them now. So it's a kind of a good time to pick one up. Coming up on that, I also have push to talk that I connect to the radio. So I got the push to talk to the radio, and then that'll go to my Comtac. I think it's a Comtac 5 that I have going to this. Now I have it connected to my helmet because I was using this independently today at the range for some stuff I had going on. So I'll put it back on the helmet here because I didn't feel like wearing a helmet all day because that is a pain in the butt. Just going back on my pouch again. or on my plate carrier again, I've just got an admin pouch, and on the back, I've just got some random flex cuffs that I have on the back. Why do I have flex cuffs? So flex cuffs, you can use them for obviously detaining somebody if you needed to, but it's good for like securing doors. If you've cleared something and you want to lock that door down, you can use it for that. You can use it to secure all sorts of stuff. It's just a really kind of good all-around thing to have. All right, coming back around, I'm going to do one on 2A cops about this. This is a gas mask. So my gas mask is a Avon gas mask. It is the same thing that most SWAT teams and military are using. It is just a standard Avon gas mask. Why am I wearing this? Because in 2024, we'll have a lot of civil disobedience. I don't expect a problem where I live right now because I live in a place that doesn't have riots, but I came from a place that had riots all the time. And if you find yourself, like I have this for travel, if you find yourself somewhere that all of a sudden there's some civil disobedience going on, or maybe you're a part of the civil disobedience. Anyways, you may find that this is helpful because now you can drive away from wherever you're at and your ventilation system isn't sucking into the truck. And you can drive with no issues. I have a voice emitter that goes with this, that goes on the end of this, so I can give, I can still talk to people and do all that kind of stuff. So, do you need this? It's a nice to have. I was able to come across one that was, I don't know, it was at the right price. Let's just say that. So it worked out pretty good to have that. Next up is my helmet. I don't have anything on my ballistic helmet. I took my Pelletors off. I don't have NVGs on this because, well, I don't want to roll with NVGs in the truck. I don't need them. But having some kind of helmet, I wouldn't even do a belt bump helmet, to be honest. Either go Kevlar or nothing at all for what's going on. Why do I have this? Things happen, man. It's a crazy world. Do you need a helmet? I think everybody should have some kind of a setup. Good to go. Helmets, that's a whole nother video, but we actually may end up doing a video on helmets. We're actually working on getting a very cheap helmet, not an airsoft helmet, but like a legit made out of Kevlar with NIJ testing. And then we're going to go all the way up to an ops core. Ops core is what you want, but man, ops cores are a chunk of change right now. If you can afford it, that's what I would get, but I don't have government money anymore. Next up, I do keep a rifle in my truck. What do I have? So I use a Mark 18. I've got a Mark 18. I have a silencer for it. It's got a law folder on it, so I can make it even more compact. I'm not a fan of a 10-inch barrel, but it's an SBR that I have that I'm willing to give up to evidence. And you have to think about that if you are involved in a shooting, you're going to lose your rifle for a little bit in evidence. And how long is that going to be? I don't know. It could be a while. You never know. You don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm willing to give this up into evidence for the next couple of years. I've got other stuff. I'm not going to put I have for my absolute SHTF scenario, I have a Knight's armament that is my go-to. I'm not going to roll around with a Knight's armament in my truck. So let's talk about my Mark 18. So I do have flip-up sights in case it ever came to that. I'm using an aim point. This is a patrol optic. I've had this for quite a while. I had this on my patrol rifle for a very long time. It's heavy, it's big, but you know what? It does the job, and I'm willing to lose it into evidence. I've got a third sighting option. I've got an infrared laser on the end. It's a purse. It works really well. I bought several of them when they were really, really cheap back in the day. And I bought a bunch and it works out good, and I'm willing to lose it into evidence. So the silencer that I have is a Dead Air Sandman S. And I did a whole video over at 2A Cops Supporting Gun Rights. I did a whole video on the different Dead Air ones. This is before, supposedly Dead Air's got some problems right now. I've put thousands of rounds through this one. I've got no problems at all. So it's been just fine for me. So I don't know if that's a legitimate concern or not. I do put a silencer at the end of my, and I'm willing to lose this in evidence because I have a couple extras at home that can replace it if need be. So with that said, I like having a silencer on the end of it. You're not going to tame and quiet that 5.56 round, but it does make shooting a lot more pleasant when you're inside of a building. So there's that for the Mark 18. That's what I've got. So what else do I keep? Because I do travel a lot. I am driving pretty much, if it's within a day's drive, I'm always going to drive instead of fly because I want the option of getting out if I need to. With that said, I do carry other things with me. I have sleeping bags. I've got a larger bag in the back that's got sleeping bags, shelter. I usually have a Everly stock pack, a switchblade that I take with me to carry my gear in. Good old Idaho boys having fun. But I do have, that pack to carry my gear. I have food, I have water, I have communication. I have a ham radio in the truck with frequencies programmed to repeaters all the way down my route. This radio as well is programmed in with repeaters along with my route. So if I go on foot, but my truck is kind of my base of operations. In my truck, I do have that ham radio so I can get up on a repeater and get conditions that may be important to me. So I've got my comms, food, water, self-defense, body armor, helmet, gas mask. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. The other thing I forgot to mention is less lethal options. Not everything is going to require lethal force. So let's say you're stuck, you're driving along, and you are stuck in some kind of a civil disobedience that's going on. And I've had that happen. I came out of the Oakland airport and they decided to shut down the freeway when I was on it, and protesters were coming down the freeway. Those people turned violent very frequently, and I ended up driving up the shoulder. People got out of my way and I continued on. But what happens if I get stuck and now they're trying to pull me out of the car? Certainly there would be a point where it's going to be deadly force. But if you foresaw this, I'd put on your mask and then start blazing away, and I use bear spray. So I like bear spray because it comes in a much bigger container. You can take this thing, and I would have a couple of them, and just start hosing people down out your window. You're going to want your mask on, because if you're pepper spraying them out there, it's going to drift back into you. And if you're wearing your mask, you can still drive through and get out of there if you need to. And then I do like the bear spray just because of that bigger container. If you have access to the big Mark IV, the cops know what I'm talking about. You got a big jail version of a Mark IV with pepper spray in it. Those are obviously very good as well. Lastly, if it's legal in your state, I do carry an expandable baton. I bought this right when I retired because I wanted to have something similar to what I carried on duty. So while I still had my active police ID, I bought this. Anyways, it's got the nice glass breaker at the end that I like. And then, it's just got some heft to it, and it's just a way to keep people away from you. All right, the most important thing out of all this, we've got all this equipment, but the most important thing is training. If you're not, you need to go to a rifle course, you need to go to a tactics course, and you need to repeatedly do that. And you need to do what I'm doing today, coming up to the range and practicing. Today, what I'm doing, let me just move you over here. There's a little shoot house behind me. And what I'm doing over here is I'm using this little shoot house to practice clearing, going through a building, and just practice that, those tactics that I was lucky enough to receive all that training, receive just the opportunity to teach other people. I would recommend doing as much as you can. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's worth it. If for those of you on church security teams and you have former cops on your security team, get them to come out on the range and teach you what they know. It'll be a mixed bag of what you get, but at least you get some kind of training. So that's it for now. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know. Overall what you think. Don't worry. Don't put in the comments what you carry, because we don't want the government to see that, because that's open source. Let me know what you think. It's always nice hearing from you. Remember your ABCs. Always be caring.